Hello, hello, and welcome to the soft launch of our collaboration with Kalani Das of World Drum Club. We Play Well Together, your exclusive North American distributor for Hokema Kalimbas, feeltone monochords, and metal sounds makers of tongue drums and handpans. We also work with the Koshi and Zaphir Chimes and Klangfarben. And I see that we have some folks here already. Hi, Barry. Hi, Roseanne. Welcome. Welcome to the broadcast. Feel free to put your greetings and your questions. This is a live interactive session, and we have some live playing for you. We also have some videos that we're going to unpack and talk a little bit about. So this can be whatever you would like it to be. But first of all, I want to say welcome, Kalani. So happy to have this happening, launching finally in 2023.
Yes, thank you, Joule, and thanks to everybody who's joining. It's a pleasure to be here. We've been working on this for a while, so here we are, the soft launch. Smooth.
Got to make sure all the tech things are working and go with the flow. Yeah, so let's jump right into some music. Would you like to play a little bit, or should we play one of our videos? How should we start this? What are you feeling?
I always like to play, but you know,
I
mean,
think
you're the
you're all
boss.
set
I'm
up.
going to do whatever you suggest.
Yeah, well, I'm just seeing that shiny space drum in front of you. And the space drum, for anyone who doesn't know, is the model made by Metal Sounds. So the instrument is called a handpan. I'm going to switch to Kalani's view so you can see him on the full screen. The instrument is called a handpan. It is made by Metal Sounds. The maker is in France. And the model is the space drum. Yes, it looks like a spaceship. And there are two different space drums. There's a space drum Nitro and a space drum Evolution. This is the Nitro. We've got the Evolution, which is the copper one, right off the side of the screen. That's its brother. And the Nitro is made out of nitrated steel, and it is for percussionists because it has a shorter sustain so that you can play a lot more rhythmic complexity, with more rhythmic complexity, and the notes don't muddy themselves. So it's a really lovely, beautiful sound, and I'm so excited to hear you play it. So let's see what happens. Sounding beautiful. Actually, Kalani, can you keep it in that view? And let's just introduce what you've got in front of you because people might be curious. That is the space drum we were just talking about, but we're also looking at some other beautiful things. We've got the overview camera. So we have the Zenko tongue drum, that little one there, and we're lovingly calling these the baby turtles. That's our nickname for them. They're also made by Metal Sounds, but yeah, it doesn't look like a little turtle friend. They're the really beautiful light sound. Yeah. And then we have a couple of wooden tongue drums. These are the Tinkatongs, made by Feeltone in Germany. And then off to the side, we have that cute little guy. or gal. I don't know if you have so many instruments, you probably don't gender them or name them, but that is the Hokema Kalimba, so made in Germany.
I gotta get closer to the mic. Hold on. Let me turn this up. I need a resonant surface.
Our friend Brandon Blake likes to put that on a cookie tin. He says it works really well, getting some extra resonance. Thank you so much. I'm going to switch my view so you can see me. And the kalimba, of course, is based on one of the world's oldest instruments, the African mbira, the continent of Africa. And we play well together. As I said, I'm Joule. Hi, everybody. And We Play Well Together is an American-based company founded by Gabrielle Schwiebach. And Gabrielle's here. Hi, Gabrielle. We see you. And we are so excited for this collaboration for a very specific reason. One, we of course want to share with our instruments, and Kalani has been a long time player and champion of our instruments. But more importantly, we in this new era of We Play Well Together are putting together music instrument groups that play well together. And up to this point, our website, weplaywelltogether.com, has been a place where people can come, and it's kind of like a catalog, and if you know what you want, you can find the thing and place the order. But where we're moving into is more of an interactive space where we have groups of instruments and then different communities that are using these groups of instruments. And the idea is that you can be a non-musician and not really know much about music theory, but come together with a group of people and there are no wrong notes. But this is also really wonderful for trained musicians. I have a master's degree in music, and yet it's a different way of playing to work with these instruments in an intuitive way. You get to let go of your thinking mind, your analytical mind, your ear training, and be in the moment. And that's very, very freeing for a lot of musicians who have a high stress relationship to their instrument. That we got to get it right, and we got to get the technique happening, and so it's really wonderful to play with other people and be able to let that all go. So I have a fun little video I'm going to play. I'm not in my studio today. We wanted to launch the live stream where I'm on my desktop and kind of navigating all this, but we have a couple of videos that we have shot over the past few days, and we're going to kind of comment on them. And so Kalani, I was making this for this purpose, and then I made a new discovery of something I hadn't tried before, and I captured it on the video of me trying a new thing, and I thought it's pretty fun. So we're gonna
Nice.
play that. Let's see. Here we go. So that is the kalimba sansula, which is the kalimba mounted on a drum head. That's a paper drum head. That is the basic. And it gives it extra resonance and a wah-wah effect. But then look what happens right here. I kind of get a grin on my face. I'm covering it. I gotta move us.
That's
Here
great.
we go, moving us over.
That's awesome.
I was like, oh, this is great. I can wah-wah this on the monochord.
And you can do that because you're very familiar with both instruments.
Mm-hmm.
You know how to do it, safely.
Exactly. Well, and I have the right to destroy my own instruments too.
Wow, that's fun.
So those instruments are called monochords, and they are a drone instrument. They have lots of strings that are tuned to the same note, and then an octave and a fifth. And those are tuned to a high D and a low D. And then here I try it up here too.
I really do love the way those instruments go together. Not just play well, but harmonically. But yeah, the sound. They don't get in each other's space. You can hear each one separately, and they sound good together. So.
Yeah. So we were just at the San Francisco Music Conservatory a couple of weeks ago, and that was really fun testing out some of these instrument groups with these very professional, high-level students. And I thought it was fascinating because they were very impressed with how all of the instruments went together. And I said, well, basically, it's just a matter of finding instruments that are in the same key and playing them together or retuning, so that Kalimba Sansula you just heard, I had retuned it to D minor. But it goes so well in our D minor world, I think that is going to be a new part of this instrument grouping. And of course, the Sansula elevates the sound, it amplifies it naturally. So where you were taking that one and trying to hold it up to the mic, that one is just naturally loud enough to be heard because it has that drum head amplification on it. So
right.
Yeah, we're kind of getting proof of concept with some of this stuff, and it sounds like people liked it. So yeah, thanks everybody.
I like that the timbres, and for the people who don't know what that means, it just means the sound quality. So you have the Sansula with the metallic, pure tones, and then you have the monochords with that. And in your case, they're a very buzzy sound, and I don't know. It's almost like one is like metal and one is grass, and they're in completely different places, so you don't have to worry about the music becoming too muddy or unclear or anything. Everybody can have their own instrument and still hear each other and themselves.
Yeah, it's like if you were doing a spectrum analysis on these different instruments, or with like professional audio engineers, how they EQ them, it would be like there are different frequency ranges of them. Even though some of them are playing the same notes, they have different things that are colored in different ways. And so you can play all these instruments at the same time, and they sound so rich, and it's creating these very varied textures. Yeah.
Exactly.
So
yeah, it is like water and grass or something. I was just envisioning like a nature scene,
Yeah,
and,
well, sometimes
so
we need imagery to help describe things that are otherwise hard to describe. They're a little bit ineffable, these harmonics.
Well, we do that with music, right? We steal words like coarse and smooth and shimmering, and those are all visual, tactile and visual words, and we because we don't have our own unique music timbre words. I think we should though, but we don't. So
well, speaking of which,
take it from other.
This particular group of instruments in our world is known as the aqua group. And that's because those Koshi chimes, which you have one hanging right by you, go ahead and give it a little jingle. The Koshi chimes, these are these bamboo chimes that are made in France, and they have tines in them and a little glass bead on a string, and that sail on the bottom helps kind of whip it around, and that glass bead activates those different metal rods. Oh, got the upper view there. You can kind of see the glass bead.
You can kind of see it, yeah.
Kind of see it in there. It catches the light. So those became very, very popular, and they're a perfect first-time instrument for someone because you don't have to do anything except hold that string jiggle it, and it makes beautiful sound. They've become so popular in the sound meditation world that we then have organized these different instrument groupings around them. But it's basically four different tunings. It's D minor, A minor, C major, and G major. And so within that, though, then we have all of these different colors and textures, metal, wood, things that we can put within that. And the Koshi chimes are named after the elements. So there's fire, water, air, and earth. And of course, there's no exact tuning for earth, or although there's the Schumann resonance, but we're speaking more metaphorically here. So yeah, I think the elements are a wonderfully descriptive way to talk about sound, and so that's why we have these groupings that are inspired by the Koshi chimes. So we are doing D minor today. D minor everything. And again, if you're here live, please put your questions in the chat. We would love to interact with you. We've got people on Facebook and on YouTube, and I'm on my channels as well. So please say hi and ask us what you'd like to know. So let's hear a little bit more from you, Kalani, live maybe, since you're all set up and we've introduced all the instruments. So I'm going to put the view back to you, so that we can see your amazing setup there. For anyone watching for the first time, Kalani here uses a live looper. So he's able to play in time with himself and layer all of these sounds. You delighted in adding a little bit of electronica in there.
You got to use a little bit of the effects. I like to do that, once in a while.
You got to use
But
all
yeah,
the
it's
things.
fun.
Use all the things, all the
You got to
toys.
press all the buttons. Yes, they all have to be lit up.
So we have Roseanne who said, I have the B9 kalimba and tinkatong tongue drum, and of course I'm playing along. Yes! Awesome. And then she said, that is wild, probably from the effects at the end there. And Gabrielle also, I think when we were talking about the cookie tin as a resonator, she added that the Sansula also has a resonator surface in the bag. And that's true. The bag doesn't so much amplify it, but it is great for the wah-wah effect. So if you get the fitted case, it's the perfect size of the Sansula, and you can wah it right on the case there.
Would this work? Does this work? It might, right?
I think it works. Well, actually, no, because it's a wood. Oh, maybe on that one. The wood on wood makes a little bit of a sound. But oh yeah, it does.
That's a lot louder though.
It is. Oh yeah. There you go. So we just made a new discovery. If you have a tinkatong, you can put your kalimba on the back of your tinkatong as an amplifier. Woo.
And do a Kalani. Just some branding there.
Right. Are you claiming branding for that combination?
I just did it. No, I don't know.
You did. You're the
I'm sure other people have thought of this. But yeah, any kind of box or a tabletop or a drum, any of that will work.
Nice. So do you want to share any thoughts about what you just did there? Or were you just in the zone adding all the things?
Yeah, so I will share one thought, and I'm familiar with these instruments, but even if you're not, the thing is, for example, when I go to play the tinkatong over here, I don't know what pitches these are. I have no idea. I know that this is the low note, the one right here. But it's just, what I like about these is that it puts the play in play music, and I'm not to be corny.
Yeah, totally.
But it does because it takes the knowing ahead of time kind of out of it, and it puts in the exploration and listening and the experimentation, and that's the play part, right? The play music part. The play, to me, it's not perform music, it's play music, right? We're playing with sound, and I like that all these instruments. They're not laid out like a keyboard. You're not thinking, oh, I'm going to press that. I know that's C, and I know this is D, and etc. So I like that, and I know that goes with what you were saying earlier about these instruments being not just accessible, but to make another corny make a stab at another cornball term, successible. They're successible in as much as they are able to have success. They're open to success as opposed to putting sheet music like successible.
Did you just come up with that, or is that part
I did.
Well, you're just on a roll today, then. Yeah.
Got to get one more. Three's a charm. But really, to me, what's terrifying to me, I'll just say, and I have somebody who grew up with dyslexia. If you put me at a piano with sheet music, it just destroys me. I literally am afraid to do that because everything, you've got so many ways to go wrong with that situation. But this, I love it. I feel free. It's just it's like a playground, and it's like building blocks, and you just try stuff and you build, and you can. And then you build on what you built, or you can knock it down, start over. It's okay. It's very playful in that way.
Yeah, and for me, very much as well. As you know, I'm a trained vocalist. I sometimes say an opera singer in recovery. I love the rigor of music practice and practicing something to make it better. But there's also there's a lot of wounding for many of us who just practiced and practiced to try to get perfect, and it's not achievable. There is no perfection. And there's also just something wonderful about letting all that go, being in the moment, playing with sound. And I like to add the voice. So I have another little video that I shot in the studio, and we can watch how I do that. Let me just see if there's some other messages. Oh yeah, Roseanne, I have ADD and formal lessons do not do it for me. Indeed. Yeah. And these instruments invite experimentation and play for anyone. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Right. So I'm going to play a little of this. Maybe not the whole thing. It's about 5 minutes, but we'll see. This is me having some fun in the studio with the kalimba, the monochords, and then I've got the baby turtle in my hand there too, and I'm playing it with my finger. I like sometimes playing it with the fingers because you get a softer touch. With those tiny little tongues, you have to aim really precisely though, because it's easy to miss the spot. They're about finger size.
It is easy to miss them, but the thing is, it doesn't matter because nothing happens.
Yeah, and actually a lot of people use on the hand pans and the tongue drums, those in-between notes as accent notes. So they're actually kind of like a ghost note or an accent and less pitched.
Almost played the same notes there.
Yeah, yeah.
I like that, the echoing yourself.
Right, you can echo yourself on the different instrument.
See? Compositional tool right there. I mean, it's an easy concept, but it really brings it all together.
Yeah, these are wonderful tools for composers too, to be creative and play and then see what comes out. Here I am adding my reverb. If you're listening at home, feel free to tone along. Ooh, Kalani got out his mallets. Please add to it. Ooh. So much fun.
Awesome.
So everyone, you could see I wasn't really playing rhythmically there. I was just strumming, leaving lots of space. And then Kalani too, as he was playing with the mallets, just adding textures and accents and that kind of style of playing, I would say, is somewhere between evocative and meditative. Pure meditative playing for me is when I play a very same kind of rhythm. So on the monochord, I would just be strumming it consistently. So it's like an infinity loop. There's no beginning and no end. So the most meditative sounds are when it's the most simple and sparse and there's very little melody. But in that case, it was kind of in between. It wasn't quite a melody. It wasn't totally meditative. It was kind of in this dream zone in between. There's your prompt. We need a name for the dream zone. Like successful.
The dream zone.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
Is that it? The dream zone?
I think it is the dream zone. One thing I wanted to add to our, we were talking about maybe, let's just call it music education or music performance trauma, PTSD, post-traumatic music disorder, whatever. And I don't, and I'm formally trained too, and I perform and I do gigs and all that. That's great. But here's another plus of these instruments. I'm just gonna say, is that when you show, if you got one of these, right, and you bring it home or you take it to your friend's house, and your spouse or your friends, they, if you were playing, let me back up. If you were playing a guitar or piano, and you tried something, they might say, "Hey, that's not how you play that," because there's zillions of examples. There's decades of history of people doing it. But when you play one of these, they can't do that. All they can do is say, "Hey, what is that?" Because they don't know what it is. And there are no established rules. So what I'm saying is, great. So you kind of throw the haters a curveball, and you don't give them anything. There's no reference point. Not that you shouldn't try playing guitar and ukulele and all that. It's great, but you know what I'm saying, right? There isn't an established. You don't go on. You're not hearing handpan everywhere, and there's not like all these established handpan stars, and even there are in certain circles. But yeah, there's no rules. It really is like a playground, and nobody's going to tell you. Well, somebody might tell you you're using the swing wrong or the jungle gym wrong, but I think that's kind of the point, right, of a playground. You play however you want, and these are sort of the same as that. You play however you want, and you're the boss.
And I'll also add that the D minor set is what we decided to focus on first because of the handpan world. So the handpan is a fairly new instrument. It has just been developing the last 15 years or so. And it is often celebrated in jam sessions, especially in handpan gatherings, which are happening all over the world. And the D minor is the go-to tuning so that everyone can sit around a campfire and jam on the pan together, which is an incredible thing to experience. You've probably all been to a drum circle where everybody's trying to out-drum one another. But the handpan, because it's such a soft sound, it sounds like rain when you've got a bunch of people. And the handpan is kind of an investment to purchase, and not everyone is ready for that. And so we thought, how cool, you could just have a kalimba or one of these small lightweight instruments that you just put in your pocket, and you could also join a handpan gathering and add some other texture. So for any handpan players or handpan facilitators out there, that's why we're developing this, and we hope you'll include some of the other instruments. They really add to it without not even taking away. I think they add so much more because of what we talked about, the different colors that they introduce, so they can make a gathering of a lot of people more intricate and interesting. And hello from Germany. My life, good to see you here. Thanks everybody for hanging out with
Germany,
us today.
they must be up early.
Yeah, or up late actually.
Or very late, yeah.
Very late, well. Yes.
Very late. That makes sense. All right.
So I want to encourage everyone here, please, if you enjoyed this, go to weplaywelltogether.com and you can join the mailing list and get a 10% discount off of the Koshi chimes, the Kalimbas, or the tongue drums. And that never expires, so that's whenever you're ready for your next wish list instrument. I know we all have a wish list for instruments, don't we? Then when you're ready for that, then you've got that discount. And please, if you're not a fan of Kalani yet, although I think most people know who he is, but if you don't, please go to World Drum Club and like and subscribe to World Drum Club. He has all of these incredible videos, a Patreon as well if you want to learn more specific techniques. And this is so much fun. We are launching this series. We're going to go live once a month here on YouTube and Facebook. And so let us know what you would like to see in the future. But for now, we're gonna jam a few times in D because there's lots still to explore. Anything to add, Kalani?
I just want to thank you for hosting, for having this. Thanks to Gabrielle and everybody at We Play Well Together. All of the builders, the makers. You know, I play all kinds of instruments, but I really love playing handcrafted instruments, and all these are made by people, handcrafted, hand-tuned, you know, and I appreciate that because I just like quality in whatever it is, and not to sound overly commercial, I'm just being honest. I just like quality things, and it's fun. They're fun to play, and all these are very tactile. So yeah, and thanks to everybody for dropping by today. I know we have a couple World Drum Clubbers dropping in, so thank you. World Drum Clubbers. I could now. Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
I can switch the pans up because we haven't heard the.
Oh, that's right, because that's a D minor pan too, right?
Evolution.
Oh, let's switch the pans.
Yeah. Switch them up. All right, I'm gonna switch pans while you're entertaining people with another joke.
Yeah, while he's switching pans, I will say that these are both space drums made by Metal Sounds in France and distributed here exclusively in the US by We Play Well Together, which is an American company. And we're switching out the Space Drum Nitro for the Space Drum Evolution. It is copper color, oh so shiny, and has a really distinctive look and feel. The Evolution was developed to be different than your typical hand pan. I'm gonna give you the full screen there. It's kind of broader and flatter, and it has a very gong-like quality. It has a very long sustain, and the notes ring out for a long time. So you can play fast patterns on it, but it's a little bit more appropriate for slower patterns. Our sound healers love this hand pan because it's much easier intuitively to play. It has a really soft touch. Even those high notes, which on some hand pans are tricky to play, you have to activate them or tap them just in the right way to have them ring out. On this one, you can just really softly touch it and you get a really gorgeous sound. So it's a very great beginner instrument, but also for composers or people who are wanting something very distinctive. It has a very distinctive metallic sound to it. It's also made out of stainless steel, which means it's very rust resistant. So you can take it places where it gets wet, and it's probably going to be pretty safe and good to maintain. I've even floated one on a river. You can do that. You can float it and play it on water.
Wow,
there's some
amazing.
Some TikTokers who have videos of playing the pan on the water. It's pretty fun. So let us hear this.
All right.
I
A
like
little offering.
I like how you dropped in all of the things at once. It was just there they all are. Was that the previous loop that
Yeah.
was in
So
there already?
right. So exactly. Because we're in D minor, we're in all the same key. So just another example of how all of these instruments can still play with this one and the nitro as well.
Yeah, no, that was sweet. You already had it, and then you can just switch out, and it's all cohesive. Mm. So if you
Any other
heard that one
questions?
has a lot more of a it has a bit of a more complex sound, right? How would you describe the evolution versus the nitro?
I would I would say that the main things are harmonics. We talk about harmonics. They're the notes above the main note, and this one, several registers of harmonics I think are present and tuned, which is a more complex task to make it. Sustain for sure. The sustain is longer. That's pretty long. That's a
Still
long
going.
sustain. So yeah, it's still going. It's also, I don't know if you guys can notice this, but hello. When I speak, it's picking up the range of pitches in my voice, and all the notes on here are also resonating with that. So it's a very responsive. It feels, no, I don't know. I'm just going to say that it feels like it's a little thinner and more responsive in that way. I don't know if it is, in fact, but it plays as if it is, or that's that's the impression I get. Yeah, you could use the word brighter. Yeah, more complex, more sustain. It does lend itself to more sparse playing, which is why I wasn't playing real busy, because if you can, like as you mentioned, but if you play busily, then you're gonna have a lot more notes ringing together, which you can decide if you like that or not, or how much of that you want to do. It's all about balance, and you make your in the moment choices based on what you hear coming back. So you can do that, or but you have the option of having just the notes itself be more of what you're producing, which I also, to me, it speaks to the quality of the instrument when you can just have a note, right? And it's enough, right? That to me, that's beautiful. It's like a really nice restaurant, right? You go and they bring you the dessert, and there's just like a peach there with a little something on it, and that's it. So it's having a nice ingredient, having something nice that just sounds good on its own. You don't have to make up a lot of things. The instrument is giving you a lot of good stuff on its own.
Thank you, Kalani. Well, I'm going to give our audience a moment. If you have any other questions or requests, last call for questions, please put them in the chat. I just want to say thanks so much for hanging out with us today. This has been really fun, and yeah, it was a long time in the planning, and I'm glad that we're going to be doing this monthly. So again, please go back
Absolutely.
to weplaywelltogether.com and get your 10% discount code for all of the things. Roseanne says, thank you so much. Thank you, Roseanne. Thanks for being with us today.
Yeah. If anybody has any questions for me, you can, I think you mentioned it, Joule, but you can contact me through my Patreon, patreon.com/Kalani. And you can connect with me there. You can also just go to my website, kalanimusic.com, and send me your question or whatever you want to know about. I'm happy to respond and give you some guidance if you want it.
And that's KALANI music.com. Great.
That's
and
it.
And then if they go to World Drum Club on YouTube, there's probably links to your Patreon there as well. So it might be easier.
I'm sure. And it's in every single video that I make. I mention it. So yeah, not hard to find.
Yeah. Well, thanks for your thanks, everybody. Yeah, no apologies for dominating the chat, Roseanne. We like We like chat dominators. That's great. We love the interaction. That's why we're
Chat
doing
dominator.
this live. Chat dominators. Is that
That's
our other word that we've coined for today?
That could be another. Yeah, it could be another one of them.
This is chat domination friendly. Chat domination friendly.
Was it the Dream Space? Dream Space.
Dream Space.
Chat dominate.
Yeah.
The Chatnator. How about that?
Yeah. Well, here's my little throwdown since I had made that discovery yesterday. Everybody, if you have a monochord and sansula, and I know not everybody has that combination, but somebody watching the recording might. A lot of our sound meditation folk have that. If you have a sansula and a monochord, play that sansula on the monochord progressively and see what happens. I know you've got the monolini, Kalani, so that throwdown is for you too on your next live or our next time we're together.
Yeah,
pretty fun.
I'm excited to try it now.
Roseanne, not sure how to process that. Yeah, that's all right. You've been an inspiration. Well, thank you, Gabrielle, once again, founder of We Play Well Together. Thanks for bringing us here so we could have all of these wonderful instruments to share. And we'll look forward to this monthly live stream with Kalani Das of World Drum Club. Thank you, everybody, and until next time.
Thank you, everybody.